I hope you've been learning and enjoying the book of Numbers. I encourage your comments, your questions, and your suggestions. Believe me, they're important to me. Thus far, we have both Miriam and Aaron, who both had died in the wilderness, which were Moses' sibling, his brother and his sister. He also dealing with the fact that he will not be the leader that leads the children of Israel to the promised land. I'm sure Moses had a lot on his mind. I could just only imagine the conversations that he had with Yehovah and with his own family, his wife and his children, if he spoke of it. I'm pretty sure he had a lot of pressure and disappointment that's going on in his mind and in his heart. Welcome to Reconcile, the key to working towards becoming a harmony of the whole world of truth. My name is Patrice Robinson. As always, I appreciate you coming here on today. We're going to go through the significant events of the book of Numbers, chapter 22 through 24. I find these three chapters very interesting, and I hope you do too. Chapter 22. This begins the beginning of the downfall of the children of Israel. The first assembly, the congregation, the church, if you will. We have Balak. This is all in the wilderness, remember? Who have heard about all the kingdoms of the children of Israel had conquered and became worried that he was next. He sends for Balaam because he wants the people to be cursed. Listen to the reason. For I know that he whom you bless is blessed, and he whom you curse is cursed. Balaam had a reputation. Then you have Yehovah speaking to him, asking about the people, and he said this: do not go with them. You should not curse the people, for they are blessed. This chapter ends with the donkey speaking to him because he whipped him about 3 times. There's been about 3 attempts for him to go forth on the donkey, and the donkey actually begins to speak to him. And I don't know why. I don't know how I would have reacted to an animal actually speaking to me. I don't know. What would you have done? But in the meanwhile, the angel was blocking the donkey from moving, and the angel opened Balaam's eyes that he can see. Chapter 23. In this chapter, Balak takes Balaam to 2 different locations with a total of 14 altars with burnt offerings. And each time, Balaam ends up blessing the people of Yehovah. And the second blessing is the joyful shout of the king. A joyful shout of a king. Now, this is a Messianic Messiah prophecy. And Balak was told by Yehovah through Balaam, there is no curse or divination that can be held against Israel. Balak made one more attempt by taking Balaam to overlook the desert. Again, Balaam requested 7 altars and 7 burnt offerings, bulls and rams. Chapter 24. The spirit of Yehovah, the Holy Spirit, came upon Balaam, and he was looking over the camp of the children of Israel. Again, the blessing includes the coming of the Messiah, a Messianic prophecy. Of course, Balak was not happy because Balaam again 3 times blessed whom he wanted cursed, which Balaam warned him that he cannot curse what Yehovah has blessed. Then Balaam, still not finished, he blesses them with another Messianic prophecy of the star shall appear from Jacob, and his scepter shall rise from Israel. I mean, Balaam was blessing the children of Israel. And then we have him speaking about the Amalekites and more. Now, the chapter would make it seem like Balaam left and everything was okay, and all that, and it just ended. But people, is actually more to that. I'm encouraging you to search the scriptures. So today's focus is the teaching of Balaam. From these 3 chapters, we have gathered, at least some of us has gathered, that Balaam was a person of divination who knew the Lord, who knew Yehovah. He was able to hear the voice of Yehovah. He acknowledged he was not able to say anything or do anything more than Yehovah has instructed him. He understood the offerings, and he was used by the Holy Spirit. People, there is a problem. He understood all of this. and he was for hire. So he was a person that had the gift of a prophet, but used it for hire. And this is why it's more about divination. So he was prostituting his gift. He was for the love of gain. Jude, Peter speaks of this, and Yeshua speaks of the teachings of Balaam himself in the book of Revelation. Again, I encourage you to search the scriptures to understand the teaching of Balaam and why we're not supposed to be a part of that. Join me on Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. as we continue through the Feast of Redemption. Don't forget to join me on Tuesday for Torah Chat Points as we go through the book of Numbers, chapters 25 through 27. As always, man does not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yehovah. Have a blessed rest of the week, and thank you for watching.